the beginning of the year, the blue one. And then if we can start to, turn sideways in here and then, show that there's buyers at the year-to-date anchor, that I think would pave the way. I would definitely be a buyer for a swing trade over here, thinking that this would now break the pattern that we see on the daily time frame of lower highs and lower lows. So in other words, what we're looking for is a higher low, and then I don't want to buy the higher high. I want to buy instead over here as it begins to move higher. That way, if I wait for the breakout at 596, let's just call it, then my stop would go way down here. If instead I buy right here as the buyers are just emerging, then I have the odds in my favor. So for now, I still consider this to be a short-term day trade environment. It was a great day trade first thing in the morning off of the release of the CPI. If you're familiar with my strategy of, when we gap above the 5-day moving average. So what we're looking at now is the SPY 15-minute chart in the upper left, Q's 15-minute chart, and semiconductors on the right. Below that, we have a 1-minute chart of these markets. And the reason I have those shorter term timeframes is we gapped above the 5-day moving average, and the 5-day moving average is starting to rise. Well, the strategy that I've been talking about and posting to Twitter for at least the last 5 or 6 years is when we gap above a declining 5-day moving average, what we then look for is chase the gap or wait for VWAP. So what I'll do is go to the S&P and we'll look at a 1-minute time frame. So what that means is we don't chase that gap higher. And this is a strategy that I've written about. You can, look at chase the gap or wait for VWAP. Just Google that and you'll see an article I did on it 15 years ago. Updated it in my anchored VWAP book. But it basically is, we don't chase that gap. Let the sellers have their little chance to take control, sucker in the short sellers, and then as the buyers regain control, to be a buyer as it gets back above the VWAP, not above the high of the day. So we're beating the people who are, opening range buyers by buying strength as the buyers regain control above the VWAP and then stop below the low of the day. And we saw a pattern, and this is what I've been talking about, in all of these videos that we've been doing here on StockTwits, is that, you look at the pattern of higher highs and higher lows and say, where do I take some off?